Shalom. First and foremost, before I get started with my lesson, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem, Rekah Kodash. Double honors to my elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Salutations and blessings to the hopeful elect. Lord willing, this video will be edifying and to the point. And I don't really have a title set just yet. Kind of just rolling in the spirit of things that are going on in the news, all right, and just the current events in general, all right. And one thing for certain in the events that are happening, all right, is distractions, man. Distractions, and bread and circus, all right. And you had a few events that happened, all right, over the past few days. You had all right, the Knicks winning, all right. You also had UFC, all right, that just passed this weekend, all right, which happened at the White House, all right. You also have the World Cup going on, all right. And these events, these things that they have set up, all right, just to keep the people asleep, man, all right, to keep them in a docile state of mind, not aware of their surroundings or anything that's going on, all right, that's happening in the world, all right. So, let me get this real quick since I'm bringing it up, all right. This is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 1. And it says, "But of the times and of the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night." All right, and it's going to come as a thief in the night because people are not aware. All right, the thief comes whenever nobody is paying attention or nobody's aware. All right, and that's pretty much just the mindset of these people. All right, they don't know what the hell is going on. All right, at all, period. Okay, so when the day of the Lord comes, or whenever disaster or a black swan event comes, all right, it's going to catch, all right, these people by surprise because they weren't even looking for it to begin with. All right, so this is verse 2. It says, "For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, sudden destruction." And the U.S. has just now came to an agreement, all right, with Iran, with this whole situation with the Strait. Now, how long this agreement is really going to last, who knows, right? Because they're known for breaking treaties. All right, they're known for breaking deals. All right, and their God is how they say that, gold, oil, and drugs, opioids. So I wouldn't be surprised, all right, if they have some type of black swan event happen, all right, some type of planned, all right, T attack, all right, and blame somebody else for it, man. All right, they're known for doing that. Okay, so as the scriptures say, all right, when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction, all right, cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape, man. All right, and the scriptures also say that they shall seek death but shall not find it as well. All right, many people are going to be, all right, terrified, all right, in disbelief at the things, all right, that they're going to be seeing, and they're going to wish that they were dead. All right, they're going to wish that they can, just die. All right, but at the same time, they're not going to find it. All right, they're not going to find it, neither are they going to be able to do it. They're just going to have to be able to sit with those things that are on their mind. All right, that's how the Lord's going to have it. All right, for the majority of these people. All right. Verse 4, it says, "But ye brethren are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief." It says, ye are the children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night, nor of darkness. Therefore let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. All right, so we watching for these things. We're paying attention to the distractions. All right, we're paying attention to the signs in the earth. All right, that the Lord, all right, is bringing. All right, you have this. You also have, all right, what you call this El Nino. All right, which is basically the weather. All right, the weather, intensifying. All right, they're speaking about how this summer, all right, how the Gulf, all right, is going to be a lot more hotter. I think 2% more hotter than it usually is. All right, which can basically change the ecosystem. All right, which brings about, more tropical storms, more hurricane-like weather, more tornadoes, more earthquakes, more wildfires. All right, so it's going to be a spread of events, a spread of judgments. All right, on Babylon the Great, man. All right, and these are all Yahweh Shem Yahushua visiting the earth, man. All right, let me grab this real quick. This is Isaiah 29:6. And it says, thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunder and with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest and the flame of devouring fire. And shit, we in June right now. All right, we in the mid-June. All right, heading into July, and it's already hot. All right, I think July and August are some of the hottest months, all right, of the year. All right, and it's already hot and humid out here. We in Louisiana, all right, and it's hot, man. All right, it's hot. The mosquitoes are bad. Just everything's mixed up. It's a mix of it's a gumbo pot, as you will, as you want to say, of weather out here. It's raining one time. It's hot. It's humid. It's just all over the place. The earth is out of its course, as the scriptures say. So, it's gonna take the Lord coming back, all right, to fix these things, man. All right, and we see the signs, all right. These signs that we see in the earth, all right, are signs of the Lord's return, man. All right. So it says, jumping back up. It says, verse 6, therefore let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. It says, for they that sleep, sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night. Let us who are of the day be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love, and for a helmet, the hope of salvation. It says, for God hath not appointed us to wrath, but to obtain salvation by our Lord Yahweh Shah Mashiach. All right, and troubles are coming to this place, man. All right, wrath is coming to this place by way of the Lord's angels. All right, the scriptures speak about how, all right, there be spirits that are created for vengeance. All right, you see, all right, people, all right, jumping out of their cars, having shootouts, road rage. All right, people just, going at each other, man. All right, the racial tensions, racial differences. All right, you just had this dude, this Chinese guy. Well, he killed a Jake, and he got away scot-free. All right, he walked away. All right, so expect more of these things to happen in these times, man. All right. Let me grab this real quick. All right. This is Mark chapter 13, verse 8, and it says, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be earthquakes in diverse places, and there shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginnings of sorrows. So these are the things that are happening. These are the beginning of sorrows. All right. People are rising up against each other, all right, you see that. All right, you see nations against nations. All right, you see earthquakes in diverse places, man. All right, you just had an earthquake that happened out there. All right, in the Philippines. All right, that killed 30-something people, I believe it was, and injured I don't know how many. All right, you have talks of famine. All right, this whole situation with the Strait. All right, they were going into how, all right, basically, even though if they came up to an agreement, all right, this was before the agreement was set. All right, before they came to agreement, they were speaking about how even if an agreement was to come to a head, right, that they're already so far behind with the fertilizer and everything that it would cause a famine. All right, that farmers are facing a famine because of all of this. So expect that to happen. All right, expect a famine to be in the very near future, man. All right, because usually, all right, people they plant their seeds during this time, all right, and they harvest whenever it gets closer to wintertime, so that they will have food, all right, to sustain them until spring. All right, and they're already speaking about how, all right, the harvest is going to be bad. All right, you have the weather all jacked up, so in certain areas there's droughts, there's wildfires. All right, certain products or certain areas or certain states, they specialize, because out here in Louisiana, sugar cane, corn is it's pretty much the staple out here. All right, so these other states, they have their own thing too, and if they're suffering from a drought or they suffering from wildfires or whatever the case may be, all right, there's going to be a lack of that product, all right, to be able to be distributed, throughout wherever they send that to. All right, so a famine is coming. All right, it says, again, verse, this is Mark 13:8. It says, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be earthquakes in diverse places, and there shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginning of sorrows. So these are the beginning of sorrows, man. The beginning of those birth pains. All right, and they're going to intensify. All right, they are going to intensify as we get closer to the day of the Lord. All right. Let's see. Let me get this one. All right, Matthew 24:7. It says, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence, disease. All right, you even got this whole, what is the H, pestilence. All right, they're not really speaking about that anymore. All right, but they did mention and say how, certain people, all right, wouldn't see any type of real, symptoms until like maybe, what is it, 6 to 8 weeks. So who knows? They, these people could be spreading this pestilence and don't even know it. I can't even count how many people I've been hearing coughing. Like this one chick was, was on the way to the plantation. I was heading into the building and she just coughing and coughing. I'm like, you all right? Like, you good? You know what I'm saying? You good? Like, are you good or you not? So, these are things that are coming upon the earth, man. All right, let me jump back up. All right, this back to 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. All right, verse 9. All right, it says, for Yahweh have not appointed us to wrath, but to obtain salvation by our Lord Yahweh Shah Mashiach. Wherefore comfort yourselves together and edify one another, even as also ye do. All right, so these words are words of comfort, man, to, all right, keep in remembrance that the Lord, all right, is going to hopefully protect us, man, all right, in those days. All right, the scriptures say that the Lord is not slacked, all right, to consider our labor of love that we put forth for him, man. So in that day, all right, Abaratazah, if we have that number, all right, we'll be able to escape, all right, the judgments that are set for the wicked, all right, and that we'll be found blameless, all right, in the eyes of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, Lord willing, you know. So yeah, let's see here. Let's go to this. This is Luke chapter 21, verse 11. It says, "And great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines, and pestilence, and fearful sights, and great signs shall be, Shalakia, and great signs shall there be from heaven." All right, and we're seeing chariot sightings, as I said, all right, in the beginning of the video. All right, you also have the government coming out speaking about how, all right, there's different types of, all right, aliens, and you know they got pieces of craft and all this blase, man, just this BS, and to keep the people distracted, man. All right, they don't have any of that. All right, if they have anything, they just have footage and photos. All right, and you know, those are just signs, all right, the times that we're very, very close to the end. All right, they're gonna bring out this type of information, all right, then just know, all right, that the Lord is very, very near. All right, our redemption draws nigh, as the scriptures say. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and end it on out on that. You know, Abaratazah, that this video was edifying. Again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Rekah Kodash. Double honors to my elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Salutations and blessings to the Akim that do this work in truth and sincerity. Until the next time, Lord willing, I say Shalom.